What's going on, everybody? Z4 here, and welcome to today's first video of Free Agency Frenzy. It's definitely not going to be as crazy as yesterday. Since we last talked, we got to see Honey Badger went to the Chiefs. That's a nice little deal there. I think the thought of Tyrann Mathieu and Eric Berry playing in the same secondary is pretty goddamn scary. There have been some nice signings today. The Green Bay Packers have been just spending money left, right, and center. Darius Smith, Preston Smith as outside linebackers. Kind of surprising. They still got Nick Perry. I don't necessarily know the ins and outs of his contract, but it seems like there's still a lot of money on the table there. So maybe they're viewing that as a rotation. They got Adrian Amos, which is a huge coup to get him from the Bears within the division. That's a nice little swing. I like Amos as a safety. And ultimately, I think if you're trying to look as who's better, him or say, Clinton Dix, who was their safety last year before they traded him to the Washington Redskins, give me Adrian Amos every single day. Sheldon Richardson went to the Cleveland Browns. That's a nice get. Like, all these moves here are really helping me out when it comes to do the next mock draft because they're filling a lot of holes that I thought teams would like to rush to address in the first round. The Raiders got LaMarcus Joyner. I think that he's coming off a little bit of a down year, got overpaid. What goddamn safety hasn't this year, but the long-term projection of LaMarcus Joyner and Karl Joseph is pretty promising. I'd like to think at least more so than what we originally thought, and I've had the Raiders go safety in a couple of the mock drafts, getting Nasir Adderley or maybe going to Taylor Rapp. That seems less and less likely. What other moves do we need to quickly talk about? That's probably about it. Teddy Bridgewater is going back to the Saints, so it looks like I'm going to have to find a way in my mock draft to have the Miami Dolphins go for a quarterback. I don't really think there's any quarterbacks left that they like. Tyrod Taylor's probably the only quarterback the Miami Dolphins could realistically be kind of looking at right now. Other than that, I think they screwed the pooch. It sounds like Teddy Bridgewater decided to re-sign with New Orleans despite a bigger deal on the table from the Miami Dolphins. So, hey, pay him more. Be like the Miami Dolphins in free agency in Madden and overpay for every single player. The last little tidbit that actually just went up a minute ago is Thomas Davis, the veteran linebacker, former Carolina Panther, is signing with the Chargers. It's a nice little business for them. I actually kind of thought maybe Philly would have a shot at landing him on a veteran, I want to win a Super Bowl type deal, but that was not the case. But today, the main focus of this video will be the Jets, because we didn't talk about any of the Jets signings, and obviously the Jets got the biggest signing of the day, top 5 free agent in my opinion. But before that, the New York Jets were kind of busy last night. They got Josh Bellamy, but they didn't get Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder as a slot wide receiver is incredibly interesting. I didn't think they'd really be in the market for slot wide receiver because isn't that kind of what Quincy Enunwa does? And Quincy Enunwa is debatably their best wide receiver. But hey, it looks like Jermaine Kearse will probably be walking. So, Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa, and Jamison Crowder wide receiver core, not terrible. Not terrible. They had a couple Band-Aids last year, like I said, in Jermaine Kearse. They got Rashard Matthews, who got cut, surprisingly, from the Tennessee Titans. But, a guy like Jamison Crowder, I do think he is one of the better slot wide receivers in the league, and it's always nice to have a good slot wide receiver when Sam Darnold is your quarterback. Now, there's still no Le'Veon Bell news. What they decided to do was go out and get Anthony Barr, starting with Anthony Barr, which is, kind of starting some buzz around, what's going on there, because they're sticking to a 3-4. That's what we know. Everyone thought they may be switching to a 4-3 under Greg Williams. He's come out and said we're sticking in a 3-4, so they're going to have Anthony Barr be an outside linebacker. Sure. You're going to assume that they're going to have Jordan Jenkins on one side, Anthony Barr on the other. Now, Anthony Barr, can he transition to be that 3-4 outside linebacker? That will remain to be seen. He's a great athlete, but it's more so, does he have the pass rushing moves? Does he have the strength? He's obviously a finesse type player, great athlete. It's not a fit. Let's just say this way. It's not a fit on paper, especially for how much they paid for him, but he is a unique defensive player in the sense that we have seen him get exposed in coverage, maybe misused slightly with the Minnesota Vikings not using to his strengths, and maybe that's what Greg Williams saw. He said, well, this guy here, I think I can transition him to a 3-4 outside linebacker. I think he's going to be able to be a pass rusher, and clearly with the money that they're going to be paying for with him, going to be a premier pass rusher. And then to pair with that, they're like, no, we're not done at the linebacking core. We're going to go out, and we are going to pay $51 million guaranteed, 5-year, $85 million, 17 per year for C.J. Mosley, linebacker formerly of the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, kind of surprised Because last year, they spent decent money to bring in Avery Williamson, who was, one of the better linebackers last year for the Tennessee Titans. He played fine. Then they had Darren Lee, who was a 2016 first-round pick. Finally had a career year. Was actually serviceable last season. Looking at his Pro Football Focus grade, graded as the number 24 inside linebacker in the National Football League. They decided to get another middle linebacker. So I don't know necessarily if that means Darren Lee's going to be available. Hey, Philadelphia, start calling. This guy's going to be available for the cheap. But you're going to assume that Avery Williamson's going to have one of those spots, and then you're going to get C.J. Mosley on the other. You throw in Anthony Barr. I mean, hey, the Jets are in the mindset of what I've talked about with the Buffalo Bills. As soon as you get your quarterback, which they think they do have in Sam Darnold, you have that window. You have that window where you're on that quarterback's rookie deal, and that is the window you need to go all in to try and win a Super Bowl. That is the window you need to go all in for the Jets' case to try to win the division, or at least make it out of the division and find a way to scrape and claw into the playoffs. And they're showing that ambition right now. I still kind of feel like, not really having any updated cap numbers, they're still going to be in play for Le'Veon Bell. And a guy like Le'Veon Bell could be that player, along with these defensive signings, that could get the Jets into the playoffs, or at least be a lot more competitive in the AFC East. I think really they still have a lot of questions that need to be answered on the lines, offensive and defensive line. But, they're showing ambition. I guess it's a good time to be a Jet fan. Like, at least, if you're a fan, you live in New York, if you're a Jet fan, at least you can rub it in the Giants, because Giants aren't doing anything because they're locked in like a $40 trillion deal with Eli Manning. So, how do I grade these moves? It definitely makes the Jets a lot more competitive, but I still kind of feel like, there's a lot of work that needs to get done into this Jets team, and throwing money just specifically on the defensive side so far, because I don't really think we can. Well, I guess Jamison Crowder, but if they get a Le'Veon Bell, and then in the draft they go offensive line heavy or defensive line heavy, or mix it up and just throw a wide receiver in there, yeah, the Jets can be a sleeper in the AFC, but it's still I don't know. I just feel like. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like, you need it both, C.J. Mosley and Anthony Barr. If I had to be critical, I feel like if you got C.J. Mosley and you had that extra money to splurge, maybe on a Roger Saffold at guard, bring in a brand new starting guard, could take over for James Carpenter, or, there's not really much to go in terms of tackle, so, you can look at going on the defensive side, maybe looking at grabbing a defensive end. Maybe look at nose tackle, an actual true proven nose tackle. Steve McClendon still set to be a free agent. Not necessarily, let's see right now. Let's look right now. What nose tackle could they have gotten? Could have got like a Ndamukong Suh. That still could be in play. If you throw in a Ndamukong Suh on this defense and you find a way to still be able to squeeze and work Le'Veon Bell on the books, hey, Jets are going to be a problem. But ultimately, they are getting some exciting pieces on their defense, so full kudos there to the Jets, but it is what it is. Spending big money at linebacker. Are they going to finish the job? Are they going to seal the deal and get Le'Veon Bell? That waits to be seen. So there you go, guys. That is the big update. Like I said, we're still waiting for Earl Thomas. We're still waiting for Le'Veon Bell. Still going to be waiting for maybe any of the ex-Eagles that could sign anywhere, or if Philly is active in the market. So I'm sure we'll be talking once again before the day is over. But again, you stress, Madden is getting worked on behind the scenes, but not super frequently, because this is my break. This is like a 2 to 3 day break where I don't have to play any Madden whatsoever, and it's absolutely awesome. You're going to be able to refresh, recharge, and yeah, it feels good. So thank you guys for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, C4, Sam, peace out.